What inspired Once Upon a Time in the West? What inspired Sergio Leone's Once Upon a Time in the West? This film is a fascinating blend of influences that shaped its unique storytelling. Sergio Leone is known for his spaghetti westerns, but his work often crosses into the crime film genre. He had a distinct way of portraying violence and morality, which makes his films stand out. One of the main inspirations for Once Upon a Time in the West was classic Hollywood westerns. However, Leone wanted to move past their romanticized views of the American frontier. He aimed for a more realistic and harsh depiction of the West. In his vision, characters are morally ambiguous, and violence is a central part of their lives. This approach mirrors how crime films often focus on the gritty realities of criminal life. Another significant influence came from Japanese samurai films, especially those directed by Akira Kurosawa. Leone admired Kurosawa's ability to build tension and use silence effectively. He adopted these techniques in his own films, employing long scenes and close-ups to create suspense. This method is similar to how crime films use pacing and atmosphere to heighten tension. Leone also drew from real-life history and mythology. He was intrigued by how myths shape our understanding of reality. In Once Upon a Time in the West, the railroad symbolizes both progress and corruption. This mirrors how crime films often use institutions as backdrops for criminal activity. From the perspective of crime movies, Once Upon a Time in the West tells a story about power, revenge, and the consequences of ambition. The film's central conflict revolves around land, money, and control, which are classic themes in crime cinema. Leone's characters are not traditional heroes. They are outlaws and opportunists, much like protagonists in crime films. For those discussing crime movies and Leone's work, it is helpful to highlight the film's use of suspense, its morally complex characters, and its focus on the darker sides of human nature. Fans of crime movies will appreciate how Leone's storytelling aligns with the genre's emphasis on realism and the consequences of behavior. In essence, Once Upon a Time in the West was inspired by Leone's desire to reinvent the Western genre, his admiration for samurai films, and his interest in the myths surrounding crime and power. The film's themes and style make it a compelling topic for discussions about crime movies, even though it is set in the Old West.